No, I was... No, I didn't. No.
Has a little giggle at Judge Sara McCulloch asking so many questions.
Yeah.
I just posted my response and am allowing time for it to be read. Then I will delete the thread. Richard announced he is outside your house.
Mm-hmm.
But your house is a condo.
Condo, yeah.
At the Winslow Green.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's possible that he found himself outside your house and was aware of where you lived because of you've been very public about it.
Sarah is really investigating this idea of whether or not Renaissance was outside, in a public area, feet away from Renaissance's owned private property.
Do you know where he lives?
I do now.
Is that near you?
Around the corner.
All right, and so did it said in here that he was talking to some of his guests, our mutual neighbors, as they leave his house. Did you ever find out if he was actually there speaking with people?
Again, I was not home.
You never heard after the fact or anything?
No, I was... No, I didn't. No.
You have to admit it is funny to watch her pretend this is a real mystery to be solved.
No, I was... No, I didn't. No.
In a real court of law, with real judges, one might expect the judge, while she is reading that, to notice the part that says, in Clarence's analogy. He is outside.
Yes, outside in a public street by the public square full of all those public establishments.
Right, and literally only feet away from the property that Renaissance actually owns on the island, which happens to just be feet from the condo that Moriwaki rents.
These are some very complicated legal facts.
Yes, complicated like crossing the street is complicated. You simply have to look both ways. But that is too much to ask of some, apparently.
And it was a metaphoric thing from another Facebook post.
What do you mean metaphoric?
Well, I had posted and I can happily share that with you, but it was a post from years ago about people at a cocktail party, and I just simply said Facebook's like a cocktail party. You walk around, some conversations are interesting, you can walk by and listen to some, and if you find some too controversial, you can walk on by. Facebook's that party, and dude, you know, my Facebook page is like my party. I'm the host.
Mm-hmm.
And friends are welcome to be there, but if a guest gets too out of hand or he makes other guests feel uncomfortable, it's my right as a host to ask that guest to quiet down, cease or desist, or if they get out of line, I can ask them to leave the party.
A real judge would have been very tempted to read that phrase, in Clarence's analogy. That may lead a top-notch legal mind to then to ask questions like, it also says here you had a party and put your hand over Renaissance's mouth and threw him out of your party. But, you say, you were not even there. So then I deduce that you did not actually have a party and did not actually put your hand over his mouth and throw him out of a party. Is that correct?
That might lead her to consider if there are any other possibilities here. Like she did during that really long, pregnant pause when she was trying really hard to think of a possible scenario where Renaissance showed up in the public near an address that Bonnie McBride didn't know because she didn't know Clarence. Sarah really put her possibility cap on there.
Yes, you might expect a judge, a really good judge, like Daniel Webster meets Ronnie Cochran meets Judge Judy, level good to them, wonder if there is, perhaps, another explanation beyond the high crime explanation of walking in public, in a public place, on a public street, near one's own private property.
Yes, that would be tough. What could another possibility be, in this complicated scenario involving a man who posted an analogy about being in public talking to neighbors?
Well, that is where graduating from the best law school, combined with years of actual legal work instead of merely being a political lapdog for those above you as many prosecutors are known to be, would lead the best and brightest legal minds to consider one other possibility.
What is this mysterious other possibility?
That possibility is that, and this is just a possibility, nothing more, that Renaissance's comment might have been an analogy, as there was no party and Moriwaki never actually put his hand over his mouth and never actually threw him out of the party. Oh, and one other thing, because Renaissance said it was an analogy, Bonnie McBrien said she knew it was a metaphor, and because Moriwaki argues that it was a metaphor before saying that Renaissance was actually outside his home.
I can see how such high-level thinking would require a top-notch legal degree and excellent legal credentials.
Yes, that level thinking is the kind of legal scholarship we can expect from only the best academic minds. Just too complicated for Judge Sara McCulloch, who is most certainly not a corrupt public official who hands down decisions based on who is asking for what against who, but simply because she has not yet achieved that high level of competence.
Now that is giggle-worthy.